Hi, everyone. It is the day after Independence Day in the United States of America. My name is Eva Marie Everson. I'm the director of Florida Christian Writers Conference. And on my screen down below is...
I'm Taryn Souders. I'm actually to your left on my screen. And I am the co-director of the Florida Christian Writers Conference.
Excellent. Yes, you are. We do have a guest speaker with us today. Not a guest speaker. I don't know why I said that. We have a guest with us today, Shellie Arnold, who is way up there in Ohio. Taryn and I are in Florida watching the Weather Channel, wondering if we need to batten down the hatches or just play it cool. And right now we're just playing it cool. But I do want to talk to Taryn for just a moment before we go to Shellie, who is going to talk to us about the continuing class that she heads up and has been doing so beautifully for a number of years now. Taryn, we have a phenomenal number of people who have already signed up. It's crazy.
It's mind-blowing. It really is. And I don't know if it's because we just have or had awesome early birds or people are ready to travel and see people. I'm going to guess it might be a combination of the both. But yeah, I have been pleasantly surprised by just the way the registrations have consistently been coming in.
Yes. And now here's the thing for you guys who are waffling on the, do I do this? Do I not do this? I'm trying, should I wait a while, etc. Once the rooms at Lake Yell are gone, they are gone. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot come to the Florida Christian Writers Conference. We are going to work out a deal with the Hampton Inn, which is not that far away. It simply means you will not be able to stay on the premises. You'll still be able to eat there. The Hampton offers a breakfast, so you don't have to worry about breakfast. And it's a free breakfast. So you'll just come and have lunch and dinner with us. And then, you'll have to get yourself back and forth, which is another good reason why, if you don't want to drive and you want to stay on the property, to go ahead and get signed up now. You can you still do a deposit, Taryn? I'm assuming you can. $300 deposit. Okay. So you can still do that. Now, if you signed up for the early bird and you put down a $300 deposit, your credit card should have already been charged for that second amount, and that keeps you in the early bird. If it did not, then you are no longer on the early bird. And I happen to know we have a couple of people. I'm going to reach out to them today. For some reason, it's not going through for them. So I'm going to reach out to them, and we'll make sure that everything is hunky-dory on their end as well as our end. The other thing is this: if you want a private room, we only have a limited number of private rooms. So if you want a private room, you're going to have to ask for a private room. We also just found out on Friday, we have an extremely limited number of first floor rooms. We did not know this, but that is the way it goes. And it has to do with the fact that there are other groups there besides us, and perhaps considered older groups. So they need more of the first floor rooms. So if you have to have a private room, if you have to have a first floor room, you want to get in quickly. All right. Anything else you want to add to that, Ms. Taryn?
No, unless if you do need a first floor room, you need to let us know in the comments section, because we won't know otherwise. And some of you already have, and you guys know who you are. But if you are going to register sometime in the next couple of weeks, make sure you say, due to physical limitations, I really need a first floor room. We would ask, if you don't need one, to not request one, just because we do have people who legitimately need them.
Yes, we do have older conferees. We do have conferees with, hip issues, knee issues, heart issues, lung issues, etc. So we are going to be more mindful of those than we are younger people who just don't like to climb stairs. So, and we understand, but still, we do have to yield to our older citizens. I think that's the way Jesus would want it. Based on some of his
more mature citizens.
Our more mature citizens, because I'm actually in that older group too. We'll go there. Okay. So let's talk to Shellie Arnold if we can. Shellie, you head up the continuing class that is the critique group. Can you tell us a little bit about how that whole thing started? Because I remember it very well, and what it is that you do.
Sure. right after Word Weavers took ownership of the Florida Christian Writers Conference. I attended the conference down there, and I found you in the office one day and said, Eva, wouldn't it be cool if writers could come here and actually work on their manuscript, like if we did critique, like a Word Weavers meeting? And you said, oh, that would be wonderful, Shellie. Why don't you do it? So the moral of that story is, don't suggest something to Eva if you're not willing to do it, because she's probably going to hand it to you.
That's right.
But it was a good thing. It was a really lovely thing, because I really enjoy critique, as you know. I'm a little bit of a critique addict, I guess. And what we came up with was to limit it to probably 10 participants. I would have a co-leader, and we would prep everyone to actually use the Word Weavers sandwich method while we're there. So everybody comes in knowing what's expected of them and how to prepare their pieces and how many pieces to prepare and everything regarding what to bring, because we can't print there on site. So when they register for the entire conference, there is a note there on the website to contact me via email, because they have to pre-register with me just because of limited space, not because there's an additional charge. So there's no additional charge for my track, but like I said, we have limited space. Right now, we're half full. We've got 5 or 6 already that have registered for the entire conference with you all and contacted me and said, put me on the list. So I think we only have 4 or 5 spots left, even though this is July, which is really cool. But basically, we use the Word Weavers sandwich method, and we do nothing but critique during every continuing class session. And we have an optional after hours. So if you want to get 7,500 words critiqued instead of 6,000 in 4 days, you can get extra words.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. And I'm just going to tell you that Shellie was my critique partner on several of my books that all went on to win tremendous awards. And she's tough, but she's good. She knows what she's doing. If you really want to learn something about, first of all, the art of critique, and just about writing in general, Shellie really knows what she's doing. And she has a very competent sidekick in Jan Powell, who joined us last year. And we are just so excited about this. Again, I think you probably have people every year who say, go ahead and put me down for next year, because that's how intense it is.
Yes. I have a waiting. I always have a waiting list, and it has happened before where someone's had to cancel at the last minute because of a family emergency. And I just contact the next one on the list, because I usually have 2 or 3 that wanted spots and we just couldn't accommodate them. It's because of time. It's just simply because of time.
In order to give that attention, you cannot let the group get too big, unfortunately.
No, because with 2 leaders, we have 5 in each group. So it works out where we literally set a timer. So we're very careful not to, I don't know, sometimes in critique groups, the phenomenon happens where the first person that gets critiqued takes a long time to get a lot of input. And then the next person gets less. And then you end up not doing everyone's piece. Right. We found a method to eliminate that possibility. We literally set a timer and give the same amount of time to every piece. We work fast, we work hard. Everybody knows going in what we're doing, because I start sending pre-conference emails about a month and a half before the conference. So everyone's prepped and knows what we're going to do, and we just dive in.
So Shellie, I have a question for you, just for people who might be listening. You said a couple of times for those who have registered for the full conference. So does that mean they have to come in on Wednesday, or can they do a Wednesday through Sunday or a Thursday through Sunday conference?
As long as they're there for the opening session on Thursday morning.
Okay.
Which would mean they're there for the opening session and then start with us that Thursday afternoon. Because, the continuing classes, the first session is that Thursday afternoon.
And
then we go Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. You have to commit to take our track. For any of the other continuing classes, people can kind of hop around. You could go to a couple of days of a fiction class and go to a couple of days of a nonfiction class, and it's not an issue because it's not affecting everyone else or kind of taking a spot from someone else that could be there.
Right.
But we require for this track that you commit to attend all of the sessions. Now, the addendum to that is for editor and agent appointments.
Sure.
Once they start booking editor agent appointments, Jan and I, at the beginning of each session, will note if anyone's got appointment times during our critique time, and we work around them. So we just schedule that every day, kind of on the fly for whatever is best for that day, depending on appointment times. But in general, you commit to attend all of our regular sessions. Like I said, the after hours is optional, but we usually get a lot of participation. I usually get at least 70 to 80% because people are so, they're so encouraged and energized to really see progress on their work, on their specific work, because you don't get that opportunity very many places.
I remember walking by your classroom at night and you'd have a full class.
We could go till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I think last year the door got stuck and y'all had to come get us out because we were going too late and we couldn't get the door open.
I do remember that. Yeah. Okay, so Shellie, here's another question I have. Do you have to be a word weaver to take part in this class, or can anyone do it as long as they pre-register?
Anyone can do it as long as they pre-register. However, I would encourage people who have only completed pieces of their first draft, or if they've never experienced critique of any kind before, this might not be for you at your first conference. Because we work very fast, we work very quickly, and it might be easy for you to get overwhelmed if you're not used to getting feedback on your pieces. We don't want to wound anybody or discourage writers that have, you know what I'm saying, that have a gentle, gentle approach.
Yeah,
exactly. The goal, though, in all of our feedback from Jan and from myself, is we want to bring up anything that could be an issue for an agent or editor, because they're going to know what could be an issue to readers. And that's the point. The point is for us to effectively reach our readers. So we're going to bring up every possible thing that we see that could be a potential problem. And then you're going to take your work home and decide, right? Is this what I need to do? Or do I need to do something else? Do I need to change this or not? But overall, I would encourage people who have a little bit of time in the writing industry under their belt to look at this track. Maybe not someone who's completely new and doesn't know anything about the industry or critique. Because
that's good advice. I think that's really good.
You got to put your alligator skin on, for one thing.
Yeah.
Because we understand this is your baby. We've all had our babies critiqued. We understand. But the thing is, as you know, Shellie, Taryn, you know, books are not written, they're edited.
Right.
and that is the tough process. I was speaking with an author the other day, very, very well-known author, and we were trying to schedule something. And she said, I just got my revisions back. So I'll be working on that mostly next week. So give me a week. And you know what? I mean, she didn't cry about it. She didn't say, oh, woe, it's me. Because she knows this is a part of the process. She is a New York Times bestselling author and she gets it. That's what it's all about. And yes, it is gut wrenching. One of my favorite moments in Word Weavers, and this was way early on, as you two know, I was one of the 5 original members. And the very first time I was critiqued which I think was like month 2. So it would have been in April of 1997. I brought my 1,500 words. Times New Roman 12, double space, line numbered. Actually, we didn't do line numbers in those days. This is how we learned to do line numbers. But there was a paragraph that, the first person who critiqued me said, this is a little bit of a rabbit trail. And I thought, well, I don't think so. I like that paragraph. It was very, it was very personal to me.
Yeah.
And the second person said, I agree with so-and-so. This is a little bit of a rabbit trail. And I'm thinking, well, the two of you obviously don't know what you're talking about. Well, by the time we got around the table, everyone agreed that it was a rabbit trail. Now, here's the bottom line. At the end of the day, it was still my baby. At the end of the day, I decided whether or not to leave the rabbit trail in or to take the rabbit trail out. And of course, at the end of the day, I decided to take the rabbit trail out because there were maybe 12 people around the table and 11 of us agreed it was a rabbit trail. So I just had to go with that and understand they weren't trying to hurt me. They were the iron sharpening iron. They were trying to make my work the best it could be.
Right. And it's a bit of a shock, isn't it?
You have to understand.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shock when you show your work. I mean, it's not just it's your blood, sweat, and tears on the page, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a shock when a complete stranger, even if you've seen my face somewhere or we've met at a conference before, kind of starts going, this doesn't work, and this needs to be adjusted a little bit this way or whatever. But Jan and I, for sure, try to not only point out things that don't work and maybe explain why, but also to offer alternatives. Here's how you can fix it. Hopefully no one leaves our track with their paper just bloody, no red pen everywhere, but also with some pretty suggestions,
smiley faces
written in them. Exactly. Smiley faces and notes. Cause me, I flip that submission over and I start writing like a maniac. I put books on the back of people's paper. What's your strength? We try to identify writers' strengths and weaknesses. We really try to help them capitalize on their strengths, to minimize their weaknesses, and to compensate for those weaknesses. Sometimes we give feedback on maybe changing it up, because a lot of times, especially for newer writers, they hear the phrase write tight, and they think that means leave a bunch of stuff off the page. Well, that doesn't mean necessarily leaving a bunch of stuff off the page. It means changing how you say what you've got on the page so you can get the more in there that the reader needs. A lot of times the answer is more, but saying it more effectively. So you're actually adding content, but you're not increasing word count. And that's where the tricky part can come in. But Jane and I both really try to give, I would say, actionable steps and suggestions that kind of skips them some steps forward, like shortcuts for how they can refine their work when they go home and they're editing and they're revising, so that they're not sitting there guessing by themselves or feeling like they've been left alone with a bunch of mess to clean up, but actually have some hints and some steps they can go through where they can take that to the next level.
Yeah, because it's
you make me want to get my stuff critiqued. I know. Can I send you my latest, Shellie? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can.
What you were saying, Shellie, it's one thing to say this doesn't work. It's another thing to say this doesn't work and this is how you can fix it. And that's really, I think, the bottom line. And that's what makes the Word Weaver's Way, we call it the Word Weaver's Way, so effective. It's not just a matter of, well, this doesn't work, or this is the wrong word, or whatever. Or saying, like, again, what you were talking about, I have mentioned this several times, that early on in Word Weavers, the thing that I heard over and over was, your dialogue is so strong. Your dialogue is so strong. You really caught the character with your dialogue. So dialogue, I knew I had. I did not need to work on dialogue. I'd always work on it, of course, but it wasn't like I needed to read every book ever written on writing dialogue. Okay, that I've got. But maybe prose I need to work on, or the opening lines and hooks and things like that. And typically don't the people who come to your class, aren't they bringing their first 6,000 words, 7,500 words, whatever? It's usually the first part of what they're working on.
I encourage that if someone is convinced that the opening of the book is weak, which can happen a lot with fiction. With writing fiction, you write that first draft, and by the time you're done, there's some stuff happening in that book that you didn't plan, and your characters did some stuff that you didn't know they were going to do. And that's how it's supposed to be, right? Because they're supposed to be strong enough to kind of think for themselves and make their own decisions, but they usually make a mess for us at the end. So don't we all end up kind of rewriting the first 50? I heard Lisa Sampson once say that she plans on, whenever she writes a novel, she plans on ditching the first 50 to 75 pages and just redoing them by the time she's done with the manuscript. So for fiction writers, a lot of times that's the best decision, or to bring the opening few chapters and then the last chapter, because then you can see that arc, and if it's really complete, and if they've really taken their characters where they wanted them to go and communicated that effectively on the page. For nonfiction, a lot of people decide to bring kind of incremental excerpts. So it really depends on what you're working on and what is best for you. And I would encourage writers, don't bring what you think is perfect.
Right.
Don't bring the piece that you've had critiqued, with your other group or been working on for 2.5 solid years, and you think this thing is perfect, because you're not coming to our class to get a, yay, that needs nothing. You want to use us. You want to avail yourself of what we can see in your pieces in such a way that if you're struggling with something, bring the piece that's the worst.
Right.
Like, seriously, bring the one.
This isn't a back padding session. Yeah.
No.
You're in a safe place too. No one's gonna.
You don't want to waste your time with us that way. If you have access to us and the conference and the experts at all the writers that you can sit with at meals and go, hey, I went to critique group this morning and they had a problem with this and told me to do this, but I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
right? You can get a lot more, you can make a lot more progress, I would say, on your manuscript if you come and bring, Eva, when I first started writing fiction, I would bring, oh dear Lord, the same chapter to fiction group every month for 6 or 7 months because I was learning so much. I'd go home and implement everything y'all said. And then I'd come back and they'd be like, Shellie, you brought us chapter 1 again. That's right. Because that's right. I know it's not right.
Until it's perfect.
I did. So I encourage writers to bring the pieces that they know aren't working, so that we can really dig in and focus on that. I usually ask the writers, what are you looking for with this piece? Mm-hmm. Well, I know something's not working at the end, or I don't think the scripture ties in with the devotional or whatever, because we work in all genres. Like we've done devotionals, we do nonfiction, we do fiction, we do sci-fi, we've done dystopian, we've done women's fiction, we do, what would kind of be memoir, or we've worked all over. We've had children's books. We've had children's books that made us cry.
Oh, wow.
They were so good, they made us cry. So we're not genre specific, which is great. Mm-hmm. Anybody can come, but bring the stuff that you want help with. Bring the stuff you haven't wanted to work on because you're not sure how to fix it and you're a little bit afraid of it. Bring that and get like our team behind you for perfecting your work.
Shellie, how do you sign up then? I mean, once you have signed up for the conference, how do you sign up for your class?
Email me at shellie.arnold1@att.net. And I think you can all see how my name is spelled, SHELLIEARNOLD, shellie.arnold1@att.net. I'll respond and verify that you've registered for the entire conference. I'll also respond reminding you that you have to commit to all of our sessions, right? Minus those editor and agent appointments. And then I'll start giving you some information. I'll say, okay, here's how this is going to work. And then you'll hear from me again in September. And if by some chance, the Lord's led you in a different direction, or you think you're not supposed to concentrate on our track, then you can let me know. Mm-hmm. You can let me know. You're not locked in.
That opens the door for somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not going to find you because I'm probably going to have a waiting list, because I always do. Yeah. But basically that's how it works. And like I said, I prep everybody ahead of time. So if you're not a word weaver, that's okay. If you don't know how to prepare your piece, that's okay. Yes. I'll walk you through it and send you instructions.
Let me reiterate this. It's Shellie.Arnold, the number 1, mm-hmm. Not ONE, not WON. Nope. Let's not confuse the English language here. Right. Shellie.Arnold, the number 1, at att.net. That's Alpha Thomas.net. Okay.
And it is on the Word Weaver website. If you go to the schedule, mm-hmm. and you're just looking at the continuing classes, her email is there and it's already linked. So you can just click on that link and say, hey, I registered. Yep. And you can connect with her there.
Yes. Yeah. So go to word-weavers.com wait a minute. In English, please. word-weavers.com /Florida events. Click on that. Then go to the schedule. You'll actually, if you even go to faculty, you'll see Shellie's name. Click on that. It will have everything there for you.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Shellie, for joining us this morning.
It was lovely to see you guys. I miss y'all so much.
We miss you too, way up there in Ohio.
Ohio.
But aren't you glad you aren't living on the west coast of Florida right now?
You know what? My body has recovered. Y'all know I have asthma and I'm allergic to everything down there. And my body's recovered up there. So I feel better living up here, even though I miss y'all really bad.
We miss you too. We do. We miss you.
You get to see you once a year though. And that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
And we can hug this year.
Yes, we can hug.
We couldn't hug last October. We can hug now.
We did a lot of the pretend hugs. Right.
I know, and we blew air kisses or waves or whatever. But so we can hug this time.
So you know what? That's going to be a great thing for us to talk about on another day, and I think we'll do that when we get closer. Last year we had so many restrictions, but they worked. Yeah. Nobody got sick. Yeah. And so
you all did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
I don't know who thought of the table thing and putting the names on the tables and stuff, but the way y'all handled everything amidst all of those restrictions.
I don't remember who thought of that. Taryn, do you remember? I mean, it was somebody who just happened to mention it.
I don't know. It was,
yeah.
It was brilliant, whoever.
Yeah, it
Super
was.
smart.
It was. Yeah, I just, and I don't know if it was something that I heard somewhere, like you should think about doing this. Anyway, I just know that I heard it in passing and stopped and thought, oh, that's very smart. And, get the tape and put it there. And
that was your seat for the week.
That was your seat for the whole conference. And yeah, we wanted to do that this year. We may be able to get 3 to a table this year. But
I think Sally was asking about that. So I think that's what we're going to try to do. They're huge tables. So
they are. Yeah. They are big tables. But we were just doing everything we could last year, including that Lysol spray. There was Lysol spray.
You're spraying everything, everyone. You're like, hold still, spray you down.
It's true.
So, all right, everyone. Again, register as quickly as you can. word-weavers.com/Florida events, all spelled out, FLORIDA events. And just go to the schedule. You can go to faculty, you can go to registration. Be sure to sign up, or I don't know what the right word is, but anyway, try out for any one of our 3 scholarships. If you are an alumni of Florida Christian Writers Conference, you can sign up for the Bruce Brady scholarship. The other 2, anyone can sign up for, the Lloyd Boldman and the James L. Van Purvis scholarships. So those are both memorial scholarships, open to anyone. Please do that, especially if you need financial assistance in getting to the conference. We want to see you there. And remember, if you are a Word Weavers member, you can go to your presidents and ask them about a scholarship from your chapter. Don't forget that. Okay.
That's right. And real quick on that note, the Word Weavers coupon code is up now. So if you are a Word Weaver, you know what the coupon code is. It's actually there on the website. When you go to register, you need to list your chapter. We will verify membership.
Yes, we do.
And that's $50 off. That's a $50 savings. So if you miss the early bird, you're really only out $50 because now you can take this $50 instead of the $100.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop the recording, and we will see you guys next time. Bye for now.